This is what I call the trash challenge. Going from your left, your right. So the very first one is fuse and reduce. It could also be remove and replace. When you go someplace and are trying to be more sustainable and you want to refuse it instead of buying it, or let's just say you buy a lot of something and you want to reduce it, this is basically like the very first thing. You're standing in a grocery store or someplace and you want to buy something and you are like, I don't really need this. So that is where you refuse. I don't need 20 of these. Like, I don't need 100 pairs of shoes. Maybe reduce your shoes, but that's just an example. So refuse and reduce. The next thing is reuse it. So if you have an item that you've already used that is maybe no longer able to be used in its function that it was originally at, you reuse it in some other way. The next thing down here is repair. So if something is broke from using it, you would repair it. Then it can be reused. If it's no longer to be reused as the original object, it could be reused as something else after you repair it. Like my jeans, for example. Like this is a pair of boxers. I'm not sure if the camera can get that. That was no longer able to be used as boxers. So I use it as a patch. So after you've repaired everything and something is totally unrepairable and it's totally reusable, the next thing is this thing compostable or biodegradable? Now that is, you have to make sure that what you have is, I would say, either by your knowledge is compostable or biodegradable. If you don't know for sure, then you do not assume. You're putting things back into the ground and you do not want something like a plastic cup used, like a coffee cup that you just bought from some gross super chain of coffee makers that you're like, oh, this looks like paper. And then you put it into a compost and you didn't know there was nothing on it that says compostable. That's like, you have to be 100% certain that it is either compostable or biodegradable. And the difference between compostable or biodegradable, it depends on what country you live, and people debate me on this. Compost is a short amount of time. A banana peel is compostable, whereas like a piece of bamboo would be biodegradable. So like that piece of bamboo or wood would take a lot longer to compost than a banana peel, or like a tomato or something like that. That's the general idea. There's also things come into play: moisture, the microbes in the ground, insect, heat, water, sun, and it also depends on what type of compost you're doing. Commercial, do you make a pile, rotation? So after compost, if something is, it's not compostable, let's just say you have a piece of plastic or metal tin can. Is this infinitely recyclable? Now, infinitely recyclable is before recyclable because there's only two things that are infinitely recyclable with some caveats. Those are glass and aluminum. If you have something that is glass or aluminum, it should always be recycled. But before you recycle it, you should always be going down here. Before you even get to infinitely recyclable, compostable, these should always be gone through first. There is so much negative happening from manufacture of like plastic, glass, aluminum. If you buy it and you don't reuse it, then it defeats the whole purpose it makes the process that much worse. Glass, for example, you should be reusing it until it breaks or isn't unusable. Same with aluminum, same with metal, the same with plastic in certain situations. Like these, most of the people I know would either throw these away, these barrels, these plastic containers, or try to recycle them someplace. But these are heavy, durable goods. So the next after glass and aluminum, with some caveats, then you have recycle. Recycling is just a massive umbrella. There's people who believe in recycling, people who don't believe in recycling. But there's no belief in recycling. Recycling works, but it's the system that doesn't. It depends on where you live, boroughs and different municipalities, different cities, etc. Each one has a slightly different recycling system. And because each one, maybe some connect with each other, they make their own agreements with the recyclers. You got to know what you're recycling and know that if you can or cannot. You can't wish recycle or wish compost or etc. because you'll be doing more harm. Unfortunately, if you do not know that it's recyclable and you cannot find out the information by searching online, you can call the company that makes it, you can find out where it came from, etc. If you do not know, then do not put in recycling. And if you can't do anything else right here, this is the last resort. Obviously, you don't want to litter, but unfortunately, a lot of litter comes from so many different places. The very last thing you should be doing, putting it in a trash can. So before the trash can is recycle, this should be your last resort. You shouldn't even think about this. This shouldn't even be an option. I should throw this off the table. This should be your last resort. These two kind of go together. This is back to nature. Banana peel, composted, you can make more bananas. I'm using a banana because that's just the first thing that popped in mind. Put a tomato, a potato, any sort of organic material. You have to make sure that, again, what you are going to put in your compost can be composted back to nature, and there's nothing like synthetic or toxic about it. That is what I call the trash challenge. Other people may have a different idea of what this is, but this gives a general idea of how you should be thinking about your trash. From the beginning of refusing and reducing everything to the very last case, recycle. And don't think about this. This is like, if you can't recycle it, then throw it away. And if you're throwing it away, you should be thinking about refusing it the next time you get it. Each one of these can be expanded. We could go on and on about each different variation of this. But this is just a general overview to get you thinking what you should be reusing, refusing, repairing, and how after it's no longer here, that you can no longer use it, what is the best way you can send it off to the end of life. And again, that's why this is black, a black hole. Ignore that.